I'm going to read a poem by Allen Ginsberg. It's entitled Sunflower Sutra. As you listen, try and think about the urban landscape of 1955 in San Francisco, on docks and under bridges. Think about our wild America transforming for industry and quickly into decay. This poem is delivered as a prophecy, a sermon. Ginsberg professes a found intrinsic value of aesthetic soul, the paradox of the sunflower. Damaged and isolated, nature springs forth from our human wreckage. As human beings, our existences are not far off from the sunflowers. Sunflower Sutra. I walked on the banks of the Tincan banana dock and sat down under the huge shade of a Southern Pacific locomotive to look for the sunset over the Boxhouse Hills and cry. Jack Kerouac sat beside me on a busted, rusty iron pole. Companion, we thought the same thoughts of the soul, bleak and blue and sad-eyed, surrounded by the gnarled steel roots of trees of machinery. The only water on the river mirrored the red sky. Sun sank on top of final Frisco peaks. No fish in that stream. No hermit in those mounts. Just ourselves, rheumy-eyed and hungover, like old bums on the riverbank. Tired and wily. Look at the sunflower, he said. There was a dead gray shadow against the sky, big as a man, sitting dry on top of a pile of ancient sawdust. I rushed up, enchanted. It was my first sunflower. Memories of Blake, my visions, Harlem, and hells of the eastern rivers, bridges clanking, Joe's greasy sandwiches, dead baby carriages, black treadless tires forgotten and unretreated. The poem of the riverbank, condoms and pots, steel knives, nothing stainless, only the dank muck and the razor-sharp artifacts passing into the past. And the gray sunflower poised against the sunset, crackly, bleak, and dusty with the smut and smog and smoke of olden locomotives in its eye. Corolla of bleary spikes pushed down and broken like a battered crown, seeds fallen out of its face, soon-to-be toothless mouth of sunny air, sun rays obliterated on its hairy head like a dried wire spiderweb. Leaves stuck out like arms out of the stem, gestures from the sawdust root, broke pieces of plaster fallen out of the black twigs, a dead fly in its ear. Unholy battered thing you were, my sunflower, oh my soul, I loved you then. The grime was no man's grime but death and human locomotives. All that dress of dust, that veil of darkened railroad skin, that smog of cheek, the eyelid of black misery, that sooty hand or phallus, or protuberance of artificial, worse than dirt, industrial, modern, all that civilization spotting your crazy golden crown. And those blear thoughts of death in dusty loveless eyes, and ends and withered roots below, and the home pile of sand and sawdust, rubber dollar bills, skin of machinery, the guts and innards of the weeping coughing car, the empty lonely tin cans with their rusty tongues alack. What more could I name? The smoked ashes of some cocked cigar, the cunts of wheelbarrows and the milky breasts of cars, worn out asses out of chairs and sphincters of dynamos. All these entangled in your mummied roots, and you standing before me in the sunset, all your glory and your form. A perfect beauty of a sunflower, a perfect, excellent, lovely sunflower existence. A sweet, natural eye to the new hip moon. Woke up alive and excited, grasping in the sunset shadow, sunrise, golden, monthly breeze. How many flies buzzed round you innocent of your grime, while you cursed the heavens of your railroad and your flower soul? Poor dead flower. When did you forget you were a flower? When did you look at your skin and decide you were an impotent, dirty old locomotive? The ghost of a locomotive. The specter and shade of a once powerful, mad American locomotive. You were never no locomotive, sunflower. You were a sunflower. And you, locomotive, you are a locomotive, forget me not. So I grabbed up the skeleton-thick sunflower and stuck it at my side like a scepter, and delivered my sermon to my soul, and Jack's soul too, and anyone who will listen. We're not our skin of grime, we're not our dread, black, dusty, imageless locomotive. We're all golden sunflowers inside, blessed by our own seed and hairy, naked accomplishment. Bodies growing into mad, black, formal sunflowers in the sunset, spied on by our eyes under the shadow of the mad locomotive riverbank, sunset, Frisco, hilly, tin can, evening sit-down vision. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed Ginsberg. Take care.